Okay, thanks very much for your patience. We're going to get started now. And again, welcome to the Day Traders Action Boomerang webinar. And I've got a nice presentation prepared for you. And as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to be bored at all. So I'm going to ask you to please pay attention if you're serious. If you're not serious and you're multitasking, screwing around, then frankly, you might as well just leave the webinar because you're not serious about being a trader. We trade every day in the markets. I have the most astounding record in the industry for having straight winning days in a row. My record was in 2017, 83 winning days in a row. Recently, we had a 3.5 month period of over 58 winning days in a row every single day on both crude oil and mini NASDAQ. And if you know anything about futures, you know that that is virtually mathematically impossible to have that many winning days in a row, but we've done it. I've never seen any other CTA, trading room, or individual futures trader have that many winning days in a row. I'm going to show you a lot of the secrets of how I do that today. So again, if you're serious about trading, you're going to love the webinar. If you're just screwing around looking to pretend like you're interested in futures trading and think maybe someday you might would have, could have, should have tried that and just that, why don't you just leave the webinar now and leave room for those who are really serious? You know, that's what's most important to me and to also our serious members who've joined us today. So thanks so much. Hey, no offense, there's nothing wrong with it. Futures trading is not for everyone. So we like everyone to know that, and that's why we put the disclaimer up and everything like that. So what I'm doing now is I just want to show you this picture here, which many of you who know me have seen this, and it's very important you understand. I'm not doing this to brag or anything. I'm telling you, if you're a conceited person and you take up futures trading, it won't be long before you're not conceited anymore. Futures trading is going to make you very humble, and especially when you do the things that I do in the industry, you become very humble because you realize how dangerous trading is and how risky it is. This is a picture of me giving a live trading seminar. Yes, back in the days of live trading seminars before webinars, when I had 320 traders fly in from around the world, spend $250 a night in the Marriott in Florida, in near Boca Raton, and watch me give a live presentation for 2 days on how to trade the futures markets. We had over a dozen professional floor traders flying from Chicago, and those are tough guys. Those guys don't just screw around and waste 2 days of their lives to come to a seminar by some guy that they don't necessarily know that well. But we also had over 20 brokers and futures traders. Our brokers that were brokers in the industry flew in who knew a lot of the floor traders, and they would all talk to me and tell me, wow, you know who's here? This guy over there, and he does 100 lots in the ES and stuff like that. I had a lot of stuff going on, just what I needed, more pressure, right? For 2 days, I had enough pressure just getting up there in front of everybody as a public speaker and making sure everything went well. But they told me a lot of who was there, and it was quite exciting. I got to meet most of the guys. Now these traders flew in from around the globe. Not this was not a trading um, one of those big meetings they have, a conference where there's all kinds of futures traders. These all flew in just to see me speak for that exact purpose. They spent that money to fly from wherever they were, some from as far away as Russia and parts of the Middle East and stuff like that. We had traders coming in from Philippines and wonderful countries in the Far East, and a lot of course, local traders from United States. I call it local because it seemed like that was local for our day. So keep that in mind. I'm only showing you this to show you the proof because I know you get a lot of BS stuff in the emails about trading and you could make this and that and all your dreams are going to come true with us, right? Sure. Well, let's see if you do that. First of all, why don't you put up a picture like this where you had 320 traders come in just to see you, pay $1,000 each plus 250 a night at the Marriott. You need at least 3 days there to cover the spillover time and everything, and come in and see just this one specific person speak. And if you do indeed first of all, I already know there's nobody in the industry that can put a picture like this up. So again, I'm just trying to give you a little credibility run so you really snap up, sit up straight, and pay attention to what I'm going to show you today so we can see if we can get you making some money. Now, if you're going to just screw around and multitask everything and go ahead and pretend to be a futures trader and blow out two or three or more accounts, that's your business. I don't judge, but I can help you if you want some help. But if you want to act like you already know it all and everything and that I'm just out to scam you and take your money, then it'd be better if you just left. Better for all of us. But so first of all, they could put a picture like that up, which I know they can't. But at least what I would recommend, if they're going to try to sell you some stuff like that, put up a YouTube channel where you record live trades that you've done, where they can hear you talking and analyzing the markets and giving updates and what you do. And how about an extensive YouTube channel where you show a 22 point swing trade, a 12-point swinger, a lot of 12s and stuff like that. A lot of swing trades on my site here. How about a 30.5 point swing trade with me live narrating through the whole thing? 14.5 points, 13.5. I know how to catch the swing trades when they set up. I usually am a scalper. I'm a professional scalper. That's my business. And those who've been in my room or who are currently here now that are in the room know that we go in and scalp them out every day. Again, 2017 was my record 83 winning days in a row. No losing days. 83 winning days in a row on crude oil and NASDAQ combined every single day. And recently, as this last September, October, and November, and into December, which gets a little choppy towards the end of December as holidays come, we had 58 winning days in a row. We just completed 7 winning days in a row as of today, and I'll go over those figures with you in a moment. But first of all, have a YouTube channel if you're going to promote to the trading community. And why not make it a real extensive YouTube channel? Why not put a lot of recordings and videos on there so the traders can see the proof that you really do know how to trade and that you really do trade live? They can see you make the entries and make the exits, and especially on these swings. There's a lot of scalps and stuff in here too, but especially on these swing trades, watch you sit and hold through an entire Elliott wave pattern as shown here and catch a 30-point move. I think that would give you some credibility, wouldn't it? So I'm just trying to show you. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just trying to show these other clowns out there who are out there, many of them trying to rip you off, that if they can't show that stuff, why don't they just, speed off and get the hell out of the industry and leave room for those of us who are honest and genuine, who are trying to really help traders. So that's the very first thing I want to say is I really care about your success using our trading tools. And those who know me know that I'm sincere when I say that. My trading tools will help you, and there's only a few of them. I don't have a big library of them like a lot of the frauds who try to sell you trading tools. I've got a few, and they're proven because I've used them in secret for many years, and some of them I just recently released to the public, like one I'm going to show you today, which is called my Primo indicator. Primo means price momentum, so price, primo. You see, I didn't make a primo to sound cool like it was some kind of primo indicator. That just was a coincidence. It's called the price momentum. In fact, your first lesson is, guess what? Some guy can put up a dozen or 2 dozen indicators to try to sell you. You should pretty much realize a guy doesn't trade and know how to trade. Why? Because if he knew anything, he or she would know that you have price and you have volume. That's it. That's really all there is in the markets. You have price and the momentum of price, otherwise known as primo here, and you have volume and the momentum of volume, which I have an indicator I call Valmo, which is a volume momentum indicator. Never before seen one in the industry before. I've looked and looked for really good volume indicators. There aren't any, except my Valmo. So today, though, we're talking about 3 indicators that I'm going to be using to show you how we trade crude oil. But before we get into all that, rolling up of the sleeves and doing all that stuff and really getting heavy with this stuff, I want to again remind you I'm going to speak for about an hour and a half because we had a little delay in the morning there, or in the beginning here. And I'm going to speak for about an hour and a half, and then we'll go into your questions, and we can take our time and spend the whole afternoon if we have to. But I want to cover that. I'm here. I'm committed to stay with you and show you exactly what we're doing. First of all, what's really important to understand too, other than the number one thing, is that I care about your success in using our tools. I will help you all the way to make sure that you are successful with our tools. However, I need two requirements from you. Don't be lazy and don't treat me like a daddy. Work hard when you get Boomerang and you learn how to trade with it. Work very, very hard. Learn how to use NinjaTrader. Spend a lot of time learning the functions of NinjaTrader. Don't email me saying, oh, there's lines in my chart. How do I get rid of it? You know damn well that you go into the indicator, you go to the line section where it shows that, and you color them transparent. That'll pop them out of there. So I'm just trying to give you an example. Do that for me. Do me that favor. And mainly, number one, be willing to work really, really hard at trading. I'm going to show you something today that if you got the guts, you got the gumption, it could produce $500,000 income for you. But that's up to you. That's not up to me. That's not up to Boomerang. That's up to you. Don't try to pour your problems on Boomerang or on the markets or on me especially. I'm not going to take your problems. I'm going to help you learn how to trade. And if you can step up, you can make a lot of money. It's going to challenge everything you got inside of you, every fear and every great thing that can happen to you. It's all going to get challenged. So, what I'm going to show you right now, including some of the secrets I do to make my all winning days in the market a majority of the time, I'm going to show you first of all, this is Boomerang Day Trader. This is my world famous software used by thousands of traders around the globe, and Boomerang Day Trader on crude oil. Now, why on crude oil? Because right now the US markets are so rigged and so strange and so politicized that anything can happen in the US stock indexes. You've got to really know the game. You got to know how to play chess with these people, and that chess game will often turn into one of three things. I call it an arm wrestling match. Well, a flow down the river. Sometimes it's like a flow down the river, a picnic on the riverside. Uh, Arm wrestling match, number two. And number three, a full-on cage fight. And right now, every day is almost like a full-on cage fight. You've got so much rigging and spoofing and all the things that Rule 565 of the CFTC promised they would stop that crap from happening, but they're not doing anything to police the riggers in the markets at all. I don't see them doing anything to police the riggers. We saw a move today that was shocking. I made 28 points live in my trading room today, 28 points in under 2 minutes from a massive crunch in the market that we luckily got short right near the top. And I was sitting here going, well, this is going to be on about an hour wait before we get our goal. And they just smashed that thing down so hard. They just pulled the rug out. Anybody who was long got hurt really bad. Those of us who were short, like I said, 28 points in under 2 minutes. It was incredible. But it made me think, these damn riggers, man, I'm telling you, where are the police? Where are the CFTC police? They're nowhere to be found. So anyway, whatever, not a big deal. Who cares? I want you to put a sign up on your desk. And if you're not going to pay attention to me today, again, please leave and leave room for those who want to really learn. I appreciate it. Do this right now. Write this down. Put this on the top of your screen. Big letters. So what? Dot, dot, dot. Who cares? Dot, dot, dot. No big deal. Write that down and put it on the top of one of your trading screens up on your desk. And if you're trading with a phone or whatever, also please leave the room. This is not for goofy little phone traders. This is for serious traders who have two or three screens. They have their live charts up. They got high-speed internet and precision data feed, so to make sure you're going to get in these trades with me. So what? Who cares? No big deal. That should be your ongoing underlying attitude in futures trading. This is not for crybabies or wimps. This is for very strong, tough, hardcore working, blue collar working traders who want to come to work each day and carve out a paycheck in a very dangerous field, scalping these markets. In some case, catching a swing trade. In some cases, like today, catching a historic swing trade. I have never had a swing trade pan out in under 2 minutes like today. It was mind blowing, but our subscribers were quite happy, that's for sure. And those of you who are subscribers, thank you very much for joining with us. Yes, it was fun. Now, if you're not a subscriber, my recommendation is it's only 39 bucks if you're a brand new member. If you're coming back as a repeat member or whatever, then it's only $149 a month. I don't gouge traders like a lot of these clowns out there with their $300 rooms, and they sit for 2 days and don't even make a trade. They just hypothecate a bunch of BS and they never get you in a trade. We trade actively, and you can join my room. Just go to daytradersaction.com and you'll see where it says Trade Live with Mohan. You'll find the section in there. Scroll down. You can read about the room. Here's our basic theme that we're proposing to you. What if you could go to work in the morning for 2 to 3 hours, have the rest of the day off, a 3 day weekend every week, just about. We trade Monday through Thursday, unless like next week there's a holiday on Monday, so we'll trade Tuesday through Friday. And the best part, make up to 300 to 500 to 1,000 bucks a day. And only $149 a month. That's only 9 bucks a day. That's two round turn commissions. Give me a break. And 39 bucks to start for 2 weeks. So you could come in for 2 weeks and watch with absolutely zero risk. I'm saying watch, not trade. There's risk if you trade, but to watch and write down the trades and mark them on your chart, either with your simulator or with, you know, lines that are parallel lines and stuff like that. However you want to mark them, or just write them down. When you hear me call them out, give it a shot. I think you'll be quite happy. And then become a long-term member. I'm not looking for people to come in and just take a trial. We have no $39 products. Get that straight in your head. We do not have any $39 products. That's a regular subscription. It's $39 to start. Now you can cancel whenever you want, but if I'm not looking for people to come in and cancel right away. I usually bump them out of the room and don't allow them back, just so you know. I'm only looking for a small group, maybe about 100 traders to come in who are serious, want to make money every day, 500 to 1,000 bucks. So if that's you, please join our room and come on in and let's have some fun. And you can sign up right here. Just click here and that'll get you signed up on PayPal. I use PayPal to manage all my financial transactions because I work alone and I don't have time to screw around with a lot of accounting and people calling in. We don't take phone calls or anything. We just trade. We trade and make money. That's the secret. And I'm proud to be able to tell you that, because a lot of people will pretend to tell you that, but they really, 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 really don't make you money. So we're trying to help you understand that it's a really good opportunity to learn. Now, I know I've spent some time with this. Don't mind. It's just very important that I told you that information. So what we're going to do next is move on to the indicators that are involved here. First of all, on crude oil, I want to express this to you. We are making history. My Day Traders Action Room has been making history for quite some time now, because in addition to offering live trade signals following the exact Boomerang Day Trader method, we also, on crude oil, I also call out live signals on the mini NASDAQ. And again, another rock and roll contract that really likes to fly around the place. We have a lot of fun with mini NAS. But on crude oil, Boomerang calls the signals. I do not call them, but every day I train you exactly how to trade Boomerang. I'm going to do a quick training right now just so you can get your feet wet and understand the indicators I'm going to show you. First of all, this is a boomerang chart. This is called a trade channel. See this arrow here? Now I have to use a cursor, so don't mind if it goes over there. I have to use it to demonstrate things I'm going to show you. With this arrow opening up a buy channel, the first question we have a simple piece of cake 4-step confirmation process. Number one, the arrow is pointing up, signifying a buy candle. You got green candles and you got a green shaded channel. The first question we ask after, underline that, after this candle has closed. Now it's a 450 tick chart, so we count down the ticks on this meter here, and when it gets down to 0, you'll get a new candle. When that candle closes, you ask, have the price pressure bands open. These up here are called the price pressure bands. I invented them. They kind of look like Bollinger Bands in a sense, but they do 10 times more than a Bollinger Band, although I admire Bollinger a lot. Great guy, and always wishing him well. This opens a channel, now it closes. You say, are the price pressure bands open? Open means, because we're long, we're looking at the top band. That means this dashed line has crossed over the solid line. The answer is, as of this candle, in this candle, yes, the price pressure bands are open. The next question we ask, and that's it, is these are called the dynamic trend bands. You have the fast line, which is the dashed dotted line, and you have the slower line here, which is the solid line. All we're asking is, are they in one of three conditions once the price pressure bands are open? And that is, are they crossed over, like here you see them crossing over on the upside, or crossing under on the downside? Here's where they're crossing under, right here. So the question is, have they crossed over on the upside? Are they within 2 ticks of crossing over? Like right here is an example of 2 ticks. See, if I put the cursor up there on the far right, you see 90, 53, 90, and I push it up to the dynamic trend band number 1, 53.92. Right there, you can eyeball it and see it. You almost don't need to measure it, but I like to be very precise. That's a 2-tick spread. You got to have the same matching reddish colored dynamic trend band number 1, but you ask yourself, have they come within 2 ticks of crossing over? Have they under on the downside, over on the upside? Or are they matching color? Are they within 2 ticks spread of crossing over or under on the dynamic trend bands? Or are they matching color? Once they're matching color, then you can trade a pullback to the signal line. You see, that's the method. Now this is a little bit early here. What we do is we trade usually somewhere between 5:45 and after 6 o'clock when the market opens on the New York market, 9 o'clock New York time. But just to give you an example, here's a first winning trade of the day here. The buy channel opens. We ask if the price pressure bands are open, and have the dynamic trend bands crossed over? Are they within 2 ticks or matching color? Well, all of those conditions were present. As of this candle here, they were within 2 ticks. So you go long at this candle here on the blue dot. It's alarmed and signaled. These pullbacks to the signal line there at 85, and 85 shoots up to 54. So clearly we got 10 ticks out of that. Now all we're doing is scalping for 10 ticks. Now keep in mind, that's a $100 bill in your pocket. And our record for the room, which goes back a year and a half of all winning days from the signals on crude oil. We track it every day. Every day, the signals on Boomerang have given us all winning days. Not all winning trades, but our stop is very tight, only 3 to 6 ticks. 3 to 6 ticks. We have a stop method for that. We put on an automatic 13-tick stop. That's called an airbag stop. Airbag like in your car. If that airbag goes off, you're in a serious accident, but that's going to jam you up against the seat and save your head from going through the window. So we put a 13-tick stop on as an airbag stop just in case there's some problem like that goofy thing that happened today on the mini NAS where they slammed the market 28 handles. It was actually about 34 handles total in 2 minutes. Okay, it's rare, but it can happen, and we tell everyone to use stops on futures and put them on your brackets with your broker. If you join our room, make sure get your broker to show you how to put up the brackets. One click, you're in at the market. One click, you're out at the market. It'll put an automatic 13 tick stop bracket on there, and we recommend uh, uh, you can put a 10 tick limit on your crude oil because that's what we're looking for. But just remember that if you're off by a tick or two on this, you want to measure from where the signal line is and then add 10 ticks. It doesn't matter. An $80 bill, a $100 bill, you're going to do great because here's the great part. We average in the room from the trading signals for the first 3 hours of the trading session an average of 5, 6 to as many as 10 to 12 trades a day on crude oil. With, and here's a drum, give me a drum roll here, 90% winning trades. It's actually higher, but I'll just say 90 to not freak you out a little bit here. 90% winning trades. The best part is we are making history, and we welcome you to join us in making history. You'll be part of that history. There has never, ever, ever been in the history of the stock market that I've seen, or my thousands of subscribers that I've asked them to send me any system or anything they've ever seen out there. I look at all over, been doing it for over a decade. There's never been any system like Boomerang Day Trader on crude oil that has 90% winning trades every day. Very tight stops, very painless tight stops. So that's called sleep good at night type stuff. You can sleep good at night with Boomerang and you can do very, very well. Now, keep in mind on one contract, 5 to 10 trades a day is 500 to $1,000. This is a free bonus part of our room. I don't charge you for this. Our room is for the live signals and market analysis for day trading, the mini NASDAQ. The Boomerang chart, like you see right now, is in the room every day, and you can trade right off my charts. Put them in your account after you learn the method. You got to learn the method first. So let me speed up a little. Here's the first winning trade here. Here's another one. The sell channel opens up. We ask ourselves after this candle close, has the price pressure bands open? No, but as of this candle, yes, they have. Are the dynamic trend bands within 2 ticks of crossing under? Yes, they are. They're also matching color. You see that? Therefore, we go short at this yellow dot, which is again alarmed and marked exactly on the signal line, and you can see where it's going to be in advance. You'll see exactly where it is, and as sure as the sun's going to rise tomorrow, that's going to print a yellow dot right on the signal line. You go short there at 77, and it smokes them down to 64, giving you 10 ticks. That's the second winning trade of the row here. Now, and I just randomly picked this chart. I don't know what date it is or anything. I just was getting ready for the room. You saw I had a little problem in the morning there, or when we started out, not the morning, but this afternoon, and I got it fixed. That's fine. We're recording all of this, but I just wanted you to see that I don't know where this chart is, but that's the second winning trade. That's $200 in your pocket right there, minus the commish, which is around $9. All of a sudden, Boomerang opens up a buy channel. Again, we just had a sell channel and we just had a buy channel up here. It opens up another buy channel. The candle closes and you ask yourself what? Little quiz for you. What is the first thing you do when this candle closes and locks the arrow down in there? Remember, you're supposed to be paying attention. Don't multitask. Otherwise, I got too many people want to come in the room right now. Give them your space if you don't want to take me serious. That's right. Are the price pressure bands open? The answer is yes. Therefore, you trade a pullback to the signal line. The first bluish colored dot you see, which was at 91. 91 ramps up to 05, giving you 10 ticks. $300 within the space of, let's see, that was 601 and 625. Okay, in my math, That's 24 minutes. 24 minutes. 24 minutes, 3 winning boomerang trades. Did you see that? It's not something I can make up. Now, for those of you who are a little bit always skeptical and wondering, I don't blame you. A lot of frauds out there in our futures industry, I'm sorry to report. You're saying, oh, but these are still charts and live it's different. No, it's different live if you're just winging it and guessing at trades and trying to make it up as you go along. When you have a proven system that is rule based, the still charts are equally as valid, because if this trade wasn't going to be a winning trade, then this candle would be up here and we would deploy our 3 to 6 tick stop system. You'd see this candle up here. It wouldn't be down here going in the way of the market force. Now keep in mind that's what this is. These are what I call momentum blasts. If you were going to give it a technical name, these are momentum blasts. We stack all the momentum possibilities on that side of the boomerang trade. We jump in at the predetermined spot and we look for a momentum blast to give us 10 ticks. And after that, wherever they go, I could care less. However, as promised, what's a bonus feature of today's webinar? I'm going to show you how to catch extended moves in the crude oil. Now, isn't that exciting? I've never done this before. But the tools we're going to be using are the Primo indicator, the price momentum indicator, Hyperscalp, which is shown down here. This is called Hyperscalp, and it is hyper, and it is fun. But it's going to give you very accurate readings on a lot of stuff. And some of you who've been in my room a while have been watching what I do with my crunches and all that. You're going to go, aha, I'm starting to see how he does it. I don't mind showing you, because I know for a fact that in trading, I have another big sign on my desk other than my so what, who cares, no big deal, which I knew you wrote that down, right? And you're going to paste it on your desk. If you haven't already done it, you're going to do that right away when we're done with the webinar, right? You got to get that on there, and you got to get that kind of mindset going. Anyway, the other one I have is no guts, no glory. No guts, no glory. And that's where we lose most of the traders. They love to look and hypothecate and, wow, I woulda, coulda, shoulda bought or sold them there, or I woulda, coulda, shoulda held that trade and made the big buku bucks. And I hate that kind of talk, by the way, because the truth is, and I learned this from floor traders that I knew in New York, just carve out a paycheck. Let's see you carve out a paycheck every day for 10, 15 days in a row. Let's see you make equal to what you were making when you quit your job to become a trader first. Do that first, and then you'll learn to catch the runners in many cases. Not always, but you saw from my YouTube channel, we catch a lot of them when I choose to do that. Right now, in this current market, I'm really loving just scalping away, because sure, I caught 28 points today when they hammered that market down. I was taking a risk being on the short side, looking for a swing trade. I had no idea they're going to smash it down in 2 minutes. It was nuts. But I'm just saying, still, I was prepared to take that risk for that particular trade. Well, moving on, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I do this every day in the Day Traders Action Live room. Here's another winning trade. They run a big scalp or a big spike candle up here. They open up the price pressure bands. The dynamic trend bands have crossed over and they're matching color. You trade a pullback to the signal line and they go straight up. This is historic Boomerang Day Trader, the only system that makes 90% proven winning trades every day in the markets. Sell channel opening here. Price pressure bands have already crossed under. You trade a pullback to the first yellow dot, which is at 23, and 23 wiggles around a little bit and finally gets crunched down to 09 for 10 ticks. You go long here, well, you get a buy channel down here, and then you get the price pressure bands opening here, but guess what? There's no trade here. Sour grapes, too bad. So what? Who cares? No big deal. No trade. The dynamic trend bands were not matching color, crossed over, or within 2 ticks. As of this candle, They were 24 and 19. There's 6 tick spread on the dynamic trend bands there. You see that? That's what I mean by the spread. It's too wide. Not confirmed. It's the way it goes. It's the way the mop flops. However, this is my chance to show you the famous boomerang second level trade. So here's level one that we missed. There's no trade. But just keep paying attention. Don't worry about it. Because here's a counter move. After it ran up, they made a counter move. Sensitive, our boomerang sense enough to spring a sell arrow on there. It's no way is that a sell trade because the dynamic trend bands are crossed over. It's not a sell. It's just a counter move that forced the boomerang algorithm to force a sell arrow on there, which is required to take a second level trade. Then you get the counter buy trade arrow back on the buy side. You trade the first pullback to the signal line at 54, and 54 jams up to 64 exactly. There's your 10 ticks there again. Thank you, Boomerang. A stunning, amazing system. Nothing here. The dynamic trend bands are still floating up. This is not a correct trade. Look at the price pressure bands. Flat as a pancake. That's one of our simple rules. There's only 3 of them. Don't trade against the flat price pressure bands. They're supposed to be pointing upwards in a buy and pointing downwards in a sell. Hello. Pointing upwards in a buy and downwards in a sell. Gee, what a concept. Anyway, so they make a spiky ramp up. We do not take third level trades, so nothing to do here. You're just waiting. Now again, I'm going to get into some of the indicators here in a second. I'm just showing you again. Sell channel, dynamic trend bands have already crossed under. Once they cross under, that's going to put a lot of pressure on that side of the market. Pull back to the signal line. Little bit of wiggle room here, a little bit of agitation. I understand. You would have deployed a stop here that they would have had to hold under this second band up here, this dynamic trend band number 1, and then down they go. So I could go on all day showing you all the winning trades. Here's another one here, a Boomerang day trader. Here's a second level trade, which I just showed you, counter arrow. Buy trade back on the same side, up they go for 10 ticks. Here's another sell trade right here. Do you see what I mean? They're just all day long you're going to get trades. You're going to be very actively trading with a proven precision system. Now, real quickly, because I'm running out of time already and I haven't even got to what I want to show you. Here's the thing. Combining the use of the price pressure bands, the primo indicator, which confirms the bias of the market when this consists of exhaustion levels that are marked here. You see when these run up here, first thing that happens is you get this band here, this colored band. You have this what I call a rope. It's like a lead line. I call it a little rope there. When it crosses over this band here and this band changes to the greenish color, that's telling you that the force or the momentum of the price is starting to move up. Now look, it started changing way down here. That's how accurate I've made these indicators. Even though they're red candles and the market just got smashed, this band changed to green colors. Now you have the green histograms. That price is getting ready to move higher. What we confirm an upside move is when, I'm going to make this even bigger. I don't believe, I see these guys run these trade things and they got this thing all scrunched up and they tell you, see, we're long here. Yeah, right. I can't even see it. First of all, the hyper scalp has turned green, but the key problem or the key situation here is this momentum line crosses over this white 0 line. It's actually at the 50-point line, but it's a measure between 0 and 100. So 50, it's like the 0 line. Once this cross over that white line, not only does it confirm boomerang trade, see how it confirmed the boomerang trade, and you can use this as a triple confirmation tool if you want. It's excellent for that. And by the way, just so you don't start getting all mental about, uh-oh, he's going to try to sell me something. Yeah, I'm going to try to not sell you anything. I'm trying to offer you a money machine. 90% winning trades day after day after day. We've been tracking it for over a year and a half with all winning days. Okay? Sell you something. The only thing I could probably do if you think that is to try to sell you on yourself on two ways. Either one, step up to the plate and become a real tough guy and a trader and learn how to trade, or I would sell you on getting out of the futures business. You're not going to make it. If all you are is skeptical about everything, you're never going to pull the trigger and make trades. But once this crosses over this zero line, let's call it a zero line for now, it's this white line. You got the price pressure bands open. You don't need this to confirm it. I've showed you the method already. It's based on the dynamic trend bands. But here's where this comes in handy. When you have this crossing over, you can watch for a runner. Now, to watch for a runner, you're going to have to watch for several things. This is where it gets a little bit, you're going to have to pull out your skill to really learn the business. And that's not a big deal. It's fun. I've already done the research. I've already created the indicators. What if you had to invent an indicator like this? I set out with this. I need an indicator that's going to tell me when the momentum's kicking in, when that price should rock and roll on that side of the market, and when it's going to peak. And you can see the colored areas here where it's coming up and tapping these red lines. It's peaking in the momentum. And I even shaded the candles when they tap the red lines, so you got such a crystal clear visual, you're not going to be confused. The second thing you're going to watch for is the price pressure bands are crossed over, they're crossed over, they're crossed over all the way up to here, which is what? The peaking area. Look at them peaking up here. It's peaking, but you say the price pressure bands, and right here they cross under, and look at that. It's right at the top of the market here before they flop back lower. Now, it wasn't the peak top of the whole enchilada, but that got you out on a substantial runner by doing what? First of all, watching for this momentum line to cross this white line, what I call the zero line, seeing the price pressure bands open. Now you're in the trade based on Boomerang right here at 63, and you're holding it all the way up until you're seeing this peaking out up here. You're watching that. Hyper scalp is just kind of running over this initial peak line. It's not thrusting up to this red line, but it's running up over here, and more on that in a second. And now up here, right here, as you see these price pressure bands squished together. And again, let me open this up as wide as I can. I don't hide anything like so many of these other clowns do. And I call them clowns because it's like they're in a circus and they think, ooh, look at all these suckers. Remember P.T. Barnum said there's a sucker born every minute. So these guys are dressed in clown outfits and they think, look at all these suckers thinking that I really trade and I'm going to sell my fancy BS indicators here. Well, here's what mine are done by live trade work many years. I don't put them out unless I've been using them for many years. Look at this. Right here as they're squishing together. You're at the top area. You're not going to always catch the top. Sometimes with my indicators you'll catch near the exact top by a couple ticks. But you've got all these tools and they're very simple to use once you get to using them. So say you got out right here as they're squishing together at 83. Well, your entry according to Boomerang was right here at 63. So there's 20 ticks instead of the usual 10. Now, I want to say something, and I hope you'll hear me on this. This is so important. The stuff I'm showing you today with catching a runner, I don't have any record of that other than using it every day for these purposes. We track the exact crystal clear 10 tick method of Boomerang every day. I have a long-term track record of those signals. My advice, and I hope you'll hear me on this, is get over the one lot trading stuff. Sure, I caught 20 ticks here. Ooh, that's great. But guess what? Boomerang is proven to make 95% winners. It's actually higher than 90. Every day, 5 to 10 times a day. How long do you need to do that before you finally step up and say, I'm going to start doing 2 lots? Because if you go here and you make 10 ticks in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, if you have on 2 lots, you made 20 ticks, right? You took a lot more risk to hold this up here, and you patted yourself in the back for being really smart because you caught a runner. But 20 ticks is the cash in the pocket. That's all I care about, and that's all you should care about. Forget ego. Forget about, ooh, I caught the big move. That is all bullshit. You don't need that. Pardon my language there, but that we got to talk real here. Step up and add contracts with the goal of ultimately being a 10 lot trader. $1,000 per trade, 5 to 10 times a day. Hello, do you hear me? I'm not going to give you the math on that because I don't want to look like I'm hyping the deal. I'm just telling you, mathematically, Boomerang has that kind of proven signals. If you step up with 2 contracts, you've doubled your income. If you step up with 3, you've increased it again. This is your chance to take it serious. I'm not selling you anything. I'm offering you a money machine for a ridiculously low price. We don't gouge traders. I know I could charge 5, 10 times more, but I don't. I never have. I always keep my stuff really low cost. I'll go over that more with you later. So the market comes back and does what? It hits a second level trade. OMG. They ran up and they come here and they go short, or they don't go short, but they give a sell channel arrow, which is a requirement, right? And all of a sudden prices turn up again and a buy channel prints again. Well, the dynamic trend bands are already matching colors, so all you do is trade a pullback the signal line, and 81 jumps up to 93. There's another 10 ticks in there. Pretty amazing. But again, we just caught 20 here holding a runner, which you can do with more contracts, but I'm saying if you want 20 ticks, take the proven 90% long time proven method and add contracts to it. I'm going to show you the runner method today. Just add contracts to it. That's the secret. Carefully add contracts to it. So when you're looking, now here's an example of a market that really ran, but it was very hard to see it doing that because you didn't get extended moves on hyperscalp as they moved lower practically at all, and the price pressure bands were under the zero line. That's fine, but they really weren't, or I'm sorry, the primo, the price momentum, although it was drifting lower, was not really getting hammered lower. And you weren't getting these histograms here below this green line. If you do, that'll light up the shaded area. Didn't happen for some reason. So that's just called welcome to the wonderful world of trading. You're not going to catch every runner, but in some cases like here, you're going to get a lot of signals where they go short here. Following the boomerang method, are the price pressure bands open? Yes. Are the dynamic trend bands crossed over matching color within 2 ticks? All 3 conditions are met. You go short here at 37, and then 37 jams right down exactly to 10 ticks. Thank you, Boomerang. However, right here, is a little scary because they already, it's just flipping around real fast. They hit a peak, but that doesn't mean it's the end of the move. It just, you follow the system. The price pressure bands are open. And then right here, notice how when they crossed over here, that was the exact bottom for a little flip back to the upside. And again, this is later in the day. You wouldn't normally be trading crude oil much past, I'd say like, 9:30, 10 and 30 at the latest on this chart. You don't want to trade crude oil past the first 3-4 hours pretty much of the market. Since like 5:45, 6, you kind of want to back off after about 3 to 4 hours. There's always tomorrow. It makes winning signals every day. So here's a market on a roll, and you have intermittent crossovers of the price pressure bands where you can see though, just so you can check this out, it's pretty amazing. They're running up, and right as they cross, they flop back. They get back on the upside, they're running up. Right when they cross, they flop back. See what I mean? So they give other very good intuitive ideas of what you can do with the market or when to get out of a trade or just not take a risk of holding it against the price pressure bands crossing. Look at here. They smoked them straight up, and right as they cross here, down they go. So there's a lot of good opportunities to follow price pressure bands, but mainly you're just following the fact that the momentum line stayed above the zero line this whole time. Not easy when you're trying to hold for a longer term position, but that's a real simple way to do it. And those who hold trades forever are real good at that because that's just what they do. So for them to have a tool to be able to do that is a gold mine. Because this tool just kept, you see the white line too. Also, maybe it just slightly dipped below the zero line a few times, just slightly, or tapped it. That's a sign that just to hold the thing long. Now, finally, at the very close to, look at that, it was like an Elliott wave 1, huge 1, 2, 3, 4. On this fifth wave, Elliott wave type move up, look at this peak right here. See the shaded area? Look at that. It was the exact high. It was the exact high. Then they flop back. And again, they come back. That doesn't mean it's the end of the move. And in this case, Boomerang produced another winning trade here with all the configurations we described for 10 ticks. 10 ticks is the proven, that's the winning system. Catching runners and all that, you're moving into a very speculative area. You can catch them, but I'm just saying you're going to have to, as far as what to do with the stop on if you're going to try to catch a runner, I would trail the rim of the trade channel and the next nearest band, whether it's the hyper scalp, I mean this is called the Cobra, this dotted line here, or the dynamic trend band number 1. But in most cases, the real key is to make sure you're over the zero line in the case of an extended buy, and watch those price pressure bands because some of those pullbacks are going to knock you out of the trade. You just want to try to get out as they getting close to squishing together up here. That's where you'll catch the peaking areas. Right when the top rounds out and they start squeezing together, just jump out there. So they moved them up further here, and as you can see, they came down briefly under the zero line, but look at, as soon as that momentum line, along with this, what I call the rope or the lead line, came down, and that came under the zero line, it confirmed a boomerang trade. Do you see that? Boomerang came in here at 11, scalped them down to 90, and this is one you could have maybe held it a little longer. And then when the price pressure bands closed, look at that, it was right near this area. Just get out. Up again. Now I want to show you this real quick because this is called a modification trade. The way the modification rule works is if all the pullbacks to the signal line are used up, which means 6 candles from the arrow candle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice they didn't print anything on the signal line here. Is those are all used up, but then you get a matching color or cross over the dynamic trend bands. It permissions you to buy a pullback to the Cobra. It's like a second level entry that you would use. See, because they weren't quite matching here. Theoretically, you might have seen the dynamic trend number two blink here to the blue color, but this is a modification rule, which ran up for 10 ticks. So more on that. You can learn that. By the way, the core method that I'm showing you here for Boomerang, I want to point out that, and you'll have this webinar to go over more too, but I made a short recording of it. Go to boomerangtrader.com. Now we have our webinar posted here, but the second one here shows the 4-step confirmation process. Here's the video here. It's only about 20 minutes, and I've handwritten out the method and the rules below that. It's only this. There's not much to learn. Just this amount here. 4 steps and 3 simple rules. It's all written out there, plus the videos. So if today you have questions and you're kind of scratching your head a little, not a problem. Now I'm going to show you another secret to catching runners and peaking markets. Once the Cobra matches the dynamic trend band number 1 color, watch for the market to run, and as soon as you see the dynamic trend band number 1 come over and cross through the Cobra, not always, sometimes they're going to keep going, but the majority of the time that is also a peak. That just happened to be at the exact high on that candle right as they're coming and squishing together. You see that? Boom, down they go. Big secret right there for you Boomerang owners. Want to see another one? Sometimes, like here, they cross a Cobra and they keep going. That's fine. What you're watching for then is you got to watch. It's a second level trade, obviously. See the counter arrow and then the arrow back into the trend. First pull back to the yellow dot, and 13 comes down all the way to 97. So you got 10 ticks in there. What you do, if it continues, just watch for the price pressure bands to close as a sign of the thing peaking. Just watch for them to come together and kind of squish together, and then you exit there. But look here again, Cobra coming up here, and sometimes it's it's going to be flat, but it's just an extra tool. All I'm doing is giving you an extra tool to watch for markets when they get close to peaking. Now here's an extended move, and the dynamic trend band number 1 crosses under the Cobra and it keeps going, but you just watch for them to kind of what I call spread away. See, as it's coming down here, the dynamic trend band number 1 keeps coming down, but the Cobra knows how it's flattening and spreading away from the dynamic trend band number 1. That's where it's kind of stopping for a minute or peaking. Most cases it'll reverse. And then here again, this was a really ridiculously extended crude oil move. What can I say? But just again, it's something to watch for. Again, spreading away, and it still didn't stall it. They kept hammering that crude oil. Look at this thing. Again, another boomerang trade here for 10 ticks. There's the entry at 35. There's 16 right there is actually a 20 tick move. So here, notice this, by the way. Let me, again, open it up wide like I always like to do for you. I don't scrunch things up like the phonies do. Worthless. Doesn't help you at all. So here they coming down, and the DTB, or the price pressure bands, did cross over here, but it was a steep, hard downside move. They crossed back under, and right here, as they're crossing under, that's when they started stalling here. But as they're coming down, crossing under the Cobra, way in the heck up here. So sometimes it's gonna be a sign of a stronger run when the Cobra is crossed. But many times, I would say the majority of times, it'll signal the end of the move. So it's just an extraordinary run. Now here's the first thing I want to show you as far as reading the peaks. I showed you the green and the red line exhaustion levels where they shaded, right? Well, if you're getting an extended move, maybe you haven't gotten to the shade yet, or the shade's coming in, watch for first of all, what I call the rope or the lead line, this dashed line to cross under the green or red line as well into that shaded area. And very frequently, that will be a peaking area of a runner. Now, this was extraordinary, so they came back up and went down further into that. And definitely a peak in the market is going to be when you see the momentum line come all the way down and tap the exhaustion level lines, the green and red ones. That is an extreme peak and ready to reverse. And look, you see it right here. It's almost exactly at the bottom before they bounced, and then they started to wiggle their way back up and made a higher move of, well, let's see, it was about 69 jumping up to 92. Anyway, it was extraordinary move, shocking, stunning move on crude oil. Poor crude oil. We shorted crude oil in the live day traders action room. We didn't we didn't short it. I put on triple short ETFs on the crude oil industry and the business based on the price when they were $72. Can you believe it? $72 now. They can barely get it cooking back over 54. They did today. They got it back over 54, but boy, they had to really bust their butt to get that price up to 54 again. And they're like, we got it back over 54. And I'm laughing because I'm thinking, wow, it was just a short while ago we were shorting right around 72. Anyways, so keep these techniques in mind. And then one more thing I want to show you on hyperscalp, and this is pretty important, and you'll like this one a lot. And again, this is how it gets its name. It's a little tricky and subjective. You got to learn to work with the indicator for a while, then you'll be able to catch it. But these are like kind of minor peak levels, but the market will tend to hit these a lot. But the big peak levels are down here. But generally, when you see them go and hit the big peak level and the histogram comes back up over this minor level, like right here, and you can see they're still kind of trading down, that caused a substantial pop in the market of about 16 ticks. See what I mean? Now, if they do, you just have to watch. Like they're making an extreme move down here. They keep tapping under this. It's got to be 3, 4, 5 of these taps. Then they go to under or above this green line here and here. You can see that they're going to try to jump up again. I got this all. See what I mean? It actually was a whipsaw spike move. So you can actually read the whipsaw moves right here in this candle when they're all of a sudden trading above that. They scalped them up. Again, I'm not recommending hyper scalping necessarily, following that method, but what it'll do is it'll help you get out of trades where you're thinking you caught a runner and when's it going to peak. Here's another example. When's it going to peak? Say you held it even above this, and as soon as this comes down under this line here, that's when you better make sure and be out by then. Same thing here. Now, another key thing with hyperscalp, which is actually the reason I invented it, is for divergence. It's the best divergence reader of all. Here's a market running up. Here's a market up here, hitting the exhaustion line on hyperscalp, right? And then it pulled back some. That's fine. But it wants to go higher. So you're waiting and you're not necessarily trading, but you're watching. And now look, it goes from here substantially higher up here. But look at the hyperscalp histograms. Oh my God, they were up here peaking off this momentum. And now their prices are substantially higher. And hyperscalp is way down below or just right at the minor exhaustion. As soon as that trades under that level, you can see the short pullback was substantial. about 20, 21 ticks. So just keep that in mind. You can use this in this way a lot. Here it is, 3 or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 above this line, and then trading under the line right here. And look what happened. Blunk. This is usually a better method for using this on the not the crude oil. Stick with the boomerang method, the proven method, but this is good for like on the mini NASDAQ, YM, sometimes ES, stuff like that. So I wanted to make sure that you saw this today, and these indicators are very, very valuable. Now, you can buy these indicators individually for only $195. They're very, very low cost. I have a combination deal today. If you're interested in adding these to your charts, but you don't want to buy Boomerang, you'll get these precision calls for the peak levels. Right here, look at this peak level right there called the exact top, along with hyperscalp forming divergence, telling you it should be a stronger move to the downside. And the price pressure bands, you can see them closing right there while this is signaling a top and this is signaling divergence. Crystal clear. If you don't want to buy Boomerang, you can get all three of these for a huge discount of only $4.99 for all three of those. And here's a link you can use. Let me send this out. So if you just want the three indicators, it's only $4.49, and you can put those on. You have to have NinjaTrader, and you can put those on your NinjaTrader. Hold on a second here. You can put them on your NinjaTrader, and you'll be in good shape. You will see that immediately it'll light up your charts. Now here's the link if you're interested in buying those three in a combination for only $4.49. You save, it's regular about 600 bucks. And I'm sending the link to all of you there. If you're interested, you can buy these right now on PayPal, and I appreciate it very much. It'll keep us going, offering our services like we do at very low prices. However, the big thing today is, and we'll have more training on these methods. This recording will be part of it. You can take this and watch this along with your purchases over and over. I'll have it posted on the room. You can watch it and be very exciting. However, today, now, usually this is only one time for a week or two at the end of the year do I have Boomerang on a special, but if you like these indicators, and you can see Boomerang with the historic proven 95% winning trades on crude oil and extremely tight stops, I'm going to offer Boomerang to you today for $9.95. It's regularly $11.95, so a $200 discount there. And the discount on, I'm going to include all these indicators at no charge. So you can see that it's literally $439 plus two. It's a $600 plus discount on Boomerang today only. Well, for the next day or two. Just email me if you want to get it. You need a couple days to get it together. That's okay. But like for the next, say, 3 days. So I'm going to put that link on here too. You can purchase Boomerang and all these beautiful indicators for just $9.95 total. It's a lifetime license. You should be able to pay with, you can see 1 day of crude oil will pay for Boomerang. Depending, well, if we have like 8, 9 trade setups, and will, but 2 days, big deal. But again, you're purchasing a money machine. If you're a trader, you're going to go in and work every day and make these trades. It's a money machine. You'll get that feeling like our members in the room today watch. They just go, God, it's like same old routine. I go, yep, same old boring profits, and that's what you want. You want boring profits. I've been working ever since I became a trader on always asking myself, where is there a system where it's just I'm so sick of all this hype and oh, a losing day, oh, a winning day, oh, it just drives you nuts. I want boring profits. I just want to go in every day, make profits and go home. I just want a job that I can go and make profits and go home. I don't want to be a trader and constantly racking my brain and analyzing the market and my gut feel says this should be a good trade. I mean, that's you watch after 10, 15, 20 years of doing that, it really can wear you down. So with Boomerang a day trader on crude oil, it's just a job you go to every day. You take the trades, you make the money, and you go home. Now, again, as I mentioned, if you don't feel like you can do that for whatever reason, you're not comfortable trading on your own, or I think you should be with Boomerang, but if for whatever reason you can't, feel free to join our Day Traders Action live room, and I'll call out the signals for you on mini NASDAQ, and I'll train you every day on the crude oil, and you can trade right off my crude oil charts. That's right. I'll have these posted on the room. You can trade right off the crude oil charts until you're completely accustomed to it. And that way, we're the only service I know that does that, that posts the charts for free. So you can trade off of them and make the money. And that way, there's never any question that when you bought Boomerang, you didn't know exactly how it was going to trade and what it did. You've traded it yourself. You've watched me train on it every day. Do you see how honest I'm being? I mean, you might not get this because you're used to the frauds and all their hype, and they got all these fancy videos and graphics on their website. Notice mine, plain Jane stuff, very plain. That's because I don't want to put a bunch of hype on there. I'll put real things like a picture of me talking to 320 traders like you and me and those of us here at the webinar today, real traders, and talking to them and saying, look, let's make some money. Let's turn this into a real business and not just this freak out every day. Gets a little boring after a decade of just, God, where you've had these moments where you go, I just can't seem to get anywhere. That's who we specialize in working with. So be more than happy to work with you too, and at a very low cost. So go to this page here. It's just go to Day Traders Action, easy name to remember because that's what we do every day. Daytradersaction.com. Trade live with Mohan 4 days a week. Scroll down to this red link. Click on that. You can sign up if you're brand new for $39. If you're revisiting subscriber, email me and I'll send you the $149 link. You can join us up again. But we only offer the $39 one time. And I expect you to stay in as a long-term member. Don't just sign up for $39 and then quit after a week or so because you go, oh, gee, thanks for the tour. No. Screw that. We don't have tours or $39 products. I'm just giving you an opportunity. During that time, I'm guessing 2 weeks, based on our track record, you'd probably make 20 times that amount, 20 to 50 times that $39 if you take the trades. So, all I'm saying is you got to eventually grow up from being a looky-loo, a skeptical looky-loo, to stepping up. You found the real deal now. It's time to party. It's time to make some money, to feel the joy of getting that cold, hard cash in your hand every day, just about, and really feeling good about trading. It's time to lose the skepticism, realize you found the real deal, and start to make some money. What a concept. I know you're not used to that in many cases, but we'll be glad to help you. So I want to thank you for joining with us today. You'll have this recorded so you can go over everything again and again. We'll post it on the Boomerang blog. I have two sites. I have the one I just showed you, Day Traders Action. It's only two. The other one is boomerangtrader.com. It'll be posted right here under the resources section. So with that in mind, I thank you for joining with us today. Really appreciate seeing you, and have a wonderful day.